For millions of years, Earth's biosphere has quietly regulated our climate. Lush forests, fertile grasslands, and soils can absorb carbon from the air and store it away, keeping the planet's carbon cycle in balance. But today, that balance is at risk. Deforestation, soil degradation, and ecosystem destruction are weakening one of our greatest natural defenses against rising CO2 levels. So what if we could restore and even enhance these natural systems? 5 of the finalist teams in the XPRIZE Carbon Removal competition are proving it's possible, each developing pioneering land-based solutions to remove carbon and keep it out of the atmosphere.
There's billions of tons of agricultural waste that is just sitting on fields unused around the world.
These are essentially materials that are left behind after harvest and have no other alternative use, and are usually just burned by the farmers in the open or are just left to decay.
Instead of letting this waste release carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere, land-based CDR teams like Net Zero are transforming it into biochar, a material that locks away CO2 and improves soil health. Coffee fuels millions of people every day, but in Brazil, Net Zero is leveraging coffee bio-waste to fuel a carbon removal solution.
You're all used to seeing coffee beans. These beans grow in the shell, and this shell is taken out during the dehusking process. For each kilo of beans of coffee, you have 1 kilo of residue. We transform this waste that has no value and that is a problem for them into a very valuable product for agriculture and for the climate. So we're in this completely circular model where the farmers are both our biomass suppliers and the off-takers of the biochar. And this helps having these long-term partnerships that we want to bring biochar at scale.
The Docuseries team has deployed their solution in a number of countries, operating in Kenya, India, and the US, to test its viability with smallhold farmers and a variety of feedstocks. Like many of the teams, Docuseries' mobile system uses pyrolysis, a process that heats agricultural biomass waste without oxygen to create biochar.
When you kind of roast the biomass, the dense carbon material inside the biomass is left behind as biochar. And what is given off is some gases, which are basically combusted again to provide energy for the entire process. The biochar itself is this carbon-rich material that can be used either as a soil amendment and when mixed with nutrients as a fertilizer.
At the same price that farmers are paying for the chemical fertilizers, if they switch to our biochar-based fertilizer blend, they will see their yield on average increase by 30% because biochar retains water and nutrients more effectively in the soil.
Applied Carbon also uses this approach. Their mobile in-field system brings biochar production directly to the farmer's field, working with agricultural waste from large-scale row crops like corn in the US.
Our technology is the world's first truly mobile biomass pyrolysis system. So what we have developed is a mobile pyrolyzer that attaches to the back of a standard piece of agricultural equipment. Our system then moves through a field of corn or wheat or sugarcane after the crop has been harvested, and it scoops up all of the residue, the biomass that's left in the field to decompose after you harvest the crop. The system converts the material into biochar, and then it actually incorporates it back into the soil in a single pass. So think of it a lot like a combine harvester for producing biochar.
Mashmix uses cashew shell waste in India to produce biochar and carbon-rich biofuels. These biofuels can potentially replace fossil fuels in sectors that are difficult to decarbonize.
You have a carbon removal potential because the biochar is inherently stable. And then the other interesting thing that comes out of us heating up these biomass resources is the biofuel. We make a biofuel that can be used, let's say, in shipping.
Vaulted Deep, the final team on the land track, utilizes wet organic waste in their solution, including manure and municipal waste that can be toxic for the environment.
We really help provide a home for waste that can sometimes be contaminated or pathogenic, or there's just too much of them to be safely absorbed in an environment. It means that that waste is not going out into local communities' groundwater, into drinking water, into land and air, which is a really big and sort of important part of the work we do.
Vaulted Deep's carbon removal solution turns this waste into a carbon-rich slurry, which is then injected deep underground in salt caverns, unique geological formations where the carbon will be stored securely for centuries.
Because we can do slurry injection technology, we can take carbon in much less processed form. So we can just really cut out a lot of costs on that front end and take carbon with really minimal processing and take it in its sludgy form and put it underground.
In order to have a real impact on climate, teams need to ensure that these technologies perform at scale so they can be deployed globally.
The big challenge that we have today is to arrive at a design that can work with almost no human intervention and that can be replicable for us to install it all over the globe.
It really requires automation. We believe that we can get this technology to a place where these systems can actually drive themselves through the field.
Scaling effectively also means supporting the farmers and communities most affected by climate change.
One of the biggest challenges we face is raising awareness about biochar in India because we are bringing a new product to farmers. And most farmers can't really afford to be using any new product. So we need to spend a lot of our time educating them, demonstrating the positive effects of biochar. We actually work with farmers on the ground and we're developing an industry that can do a lot of good.
We're doing our testing mainly in Texas and Arkansas right now. We had one farmer even say he's had more output on the acres we treated with biochar than he's ever had in the past. So we're helping these farmers to improve their bottom line and grow more food at the end of the day.
By interacting with farmers and seeing people operate the equipment and how the extra income is changing their life and enabling to sending them to school, that really inspires me and my team to wake up every day and continue to scale what we're doing.
If these land-based CDR solutions can be scaled, they offer the promise of rewriting the future of our planet.
I have two daughters. They say, "Oh, Daddy makes biochar." And it's really funny to hear them say that, but I love bringing them to our office, seeing our equipment, explaining how it works, and I think they're a big motivation for me. I want them to inherit a better world than what we had.
Learn more at xprize.org/carbon-removal/finalists. Join the movement to secure a sustainable, thriving planet for generations to come.